I defend the Big 12 ad nauseum here on this channel, but I've also got to be honest. I will call out the Big 12 when I see a little bit of hypocrisy going on. And frankly, I'm seeing it right now. Welcome into the channel. I am John Kurtz. Here on this channel, we talk college football, conference realignment, college basketball all day, every day. You get it from a Big 12 angle, but we have fans from all across the college football world here on this channel. Make sure you are subscribed and click the bell so you know when it is that I'm going live. Live shows on Wednesdays and Sundays are a blast, and we get people from all over the college football world there. Very lively. Make sure that you check those out if you haven't before. And please like the video. Easy way to support the channel. Leave me a comment in the comment section of this video. Am I being too harsh? What do you see here? Do you agree with TCU Athletic Director Jeremiah Donati and the comments that we are about to go over? And John-Kurtz-4 is another great way to support the channel if you are so inclined. I'm not saying that I disagree with everything that Jeremiah Donati is about to say here, TCU Athletic Director, who spoke to some local media. What I am saying is that trying to square both of these comments together, I think you have to look at it as a little bit hypocritical. Now, I also think the Big 12 should be angling for whatever is advantageous to them. I understand why this would come out of his mouth, both of these statements, but let's get into it. I will further discuss this after we put it on the record. So TCU AD Jeremiah Donati spoke with some local media on a few topics on further college football playoff expansion and changes. Quote, I'm not involved in the negotiations of the playoff extension, but it feels as though there's two conferences trying to stack the deck versus everyone else. That's potentially going to create competitive inequity that I don't think is good for college football. I don't think fans want that. That's really disheartening. Hopefully it doesn't work out that way, but it seems like that's the direction we're going in. Now, I don't disagree with any of that. Like, I don't know how anybody really could. If you're a Big Ten or an SEC fan, I suppose you could say, forget you guys, screw you, whatever. But I don't think anybody could really disagree with, like, it's not a great thing for the health of the overall sport. Maybe for your conference, if you are in one of those two conferences, it is not great for the overall health of the sport. And the competitive inequity is not going to be good for college football. Yes, there has always been some level of it, but it's certainly been upgraded in recent years and now definitely will be with conference realignment and the way that these leagues are stacking up. So it's those comments in a vacuum are perfectly fine. And to be honest, these comments came out just before we got the wave of reports that you can find out more about here on this channel. But the wave of reports about the 3-3-2-2-1 model being one of the most popular models, seemingly the most popular model right now, which would be 3 auto bids for the Big Ten and SEC, 2 auto bids for the Big 12 and the ACC, 1 for the group of 5, and then Notre Dame, if they're in the top 14, would get one of the 3 at-large spots. That was a lot better than the first couple of models discussed, where it was going to be 4 automatic bids for the Big Ten and SEC, no more than 2 for the Big 12 and ACC. So they're actually closer in what came out there. And I don't think what Jeremiah Donati had to say here had any impact on that, but it is at least a little bit a step in the right direction. If you are Donati, if you're the Big 12, if you're the ACC, that's not as much inequity. And Pete Thamel's reporting on it said that the gap in percentage of the money that would be coming in right now is trending to be just about 10%, just about a 10% gap between Big 12, ACC, and SEC Big 10, which also not as bad as I would have thought. So all of that's fine and good, and I'm with Donati on that. But to then turn around and have the back half of this be another piece of what he talked about, I do not like this. And I know that this is Donati being on the same page as Brett Yormark, because we've seen that in previous reporting, that Brett Yormark is somebody who is in favor of expanding the NCAA tournament field, which even if it is going to be better for the Big 12, I just cringe so hard at that. I don't like the idea at all. The tournament is perfect. We don't need to go messing up a good thing. But here is what Jeremiah Donati said on some NCAA tournament expansion, which apparently he favors a 12-team expansion. He says, we've got the best basketball league in the country. There will be teams that are NCAA caliber teams that won't be playing in that. I understand the automatic qualifiers in the smaller conferences. That's a great part of the fabric of the tournament, the tradition. We all love the Cinderella stories. But I also think having more access from our league, whether it's 2 or 3 more, would be important, especially when we get to 16 teams. We're going to need more spots in there. I would be very much in favor of expanding the tournament. And then it says in parentheses here, I'm reading tweets, he also recognized this is similar to the SEC Big Ten case for college football playoff expansion. though potential auto bids are different. And yes, okay, it's not completely apples to apples because they're not auto bids. It would not create a financial disparity to the likes of what we have with the Power Two and everybody else in college football. Understood, but still, you are basically wishing for the same thing and trying to angle for the same thing that the Big Ten and the SEC are, and saying it just after complaining about the direction that college football is going here. So that I just got to call it out. To me, that is a bit hypocritical, especially when we're talking about messing up something that is just in pristine condition right now, which is the NCAA tournament. I will even give you my perspective as a K-State fan. Like if Jeremiah Donati is talking about, hey, there are going to be NCAA tournament caliber teams in the Big 12 that don't make the NCAA tournament, one of those he would have to be talking about is K-State. They are on the wrong side of the bubble right now, and they could still play their way back in. They are definitely a bubble team. But I would sit here and tell you that, like, much as I think they can play at times like a surefire tournament team, they have not been very consistent in that. They've been blown out at home by Oklahoma and Nebraska. They have lost a handful of close games, or they have not been able to get over the hump and finish. They've really struggled winning on the road. I have no problem if they're not a tournament team. They have done plenty to earn their way out of that, even if I certainly hope that they do enough to actually get in. But that's me with my bias as a K-State fan sitting here and saying, hey, that's not some kind of disastrous thing if K-State doesn't make it in and a conference tournament champion from like the Atlantic Sun gets in, right? I don't have any issue with that. They go win their conference tournament, that's fine. K-State has had plenty of opportunities playing in the Big 12 to rack up enough of a resume to actually be a tournament caliber team. Again, love the Cats, hope that they do earn their way in. But if they don't, I don't think we really need this. I get that it could be better for the Big 12, and that could be, somewhat financially better as you're going to get money for advancing in the tournament, having more teams in the tournament. So I have been a guy, if we're going to talk about hypocrisy, that has sat here on the channel and said the Big 12 needs to do everything it can to manipulate its advantage in basketball or just push its chips to the table in basketball on that, but mainly talking about like decoupling the TV rights, getting more for the basketball only rights, leveraging that as much as you can. That's probably the better word than anything I said previously. Just leverage that advantage as much as you can. But I don't agree overall with the decision to expand the tournament. I would be very leery of what that's going to do, how much it's going to water it down, and just don't love all the decisions being made by like everybody in college athletics right now, because it has turned into such a freaking arms race. And yet you have to try and do stuff like this. So I understand why they are. I'm just also going to call it out as being a little bit hypocritical with the comments also being made about what's going on in football and the way that everybody in the Big 12 obviously feels about how the tide is turning in the wrong direction in football. So certainly something to chew on. There's a lot to discuss here, and I think a lot is probably going to change. We'll see how this all winds up shaking out, but I've seen enough people come out in different directions talking about expanding the NCAA tournament in the last couple of weeks that it feels like there is some real actual momentum behind this. I don't know, man. Not crazy about it. But this is the environment that we live in college athletics in 2024. Let me know what you think in the comments. You on board with this? Is it hypocritical? What do you think of an expanded tournament? Like the video. That would really help me out as well. I'd appreciate that. And you can donate to the channel on Venmo at John-Kurtz-4. Appreciate all of you guys. Take care, and I will talk to you soon.